Hey guys, welcome to Kamen Rider Blade Commentary Part 2.
Was 21 to 35, right?
2135.
You're gonna have to remind me where 20 left off.
Oh my god.
You have the notes!
I know, my notes start off with Hajime is aware of the possession, which is the Mutsuki being possessed by the category ace.
God, we gotta go through so much now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I honestly don't remember almost anything about these next couple of episodes. They're kind of just episodes. Like they further the plot along the story, probably pretty much the expected storylines that you kind of that you're kind of like guessing that they'll go along. Like it's pretty by the books here. Mutsuki is possessed. He has to not be possessed by the devil.
Yeah. Blade doesn't care about power levels. This is a reference to like he's fighting somebody he's fighting a category
King
queen.
Jack,
I think he's fighting a category queen, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm really strong," and then he's just fighting him anyway.
Oh yeah.
This is the continued fight where he's fighting the guy who's like really like rock out and like shouting cannon blast out of his mouth.
Oh yeah. He's not a queen. He was a jack.
No, he was a queen. His jack card that he gets is later.
Oh
Yeah. And then we find out that Mutsuki at one point was kidnapped as an infant, which was the part when you were like, "Oh, that is complete." His backstory was completely justified. To like, "Oh wait, nope, never mind. Going back down to stupid."
He was kidnapped as an infant, and they threw him in a locker. They just threw him in a locker in an airport or something, and now he's scared of the darkness forever. And he's born in the darkness, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it, but then I also don't.
We get more of Kotaro doesn't like Hajime.
Oh yeah,
because Hajime is actively trying to like help out with the situation where Kotaro is being led around by an undead.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, "What do you? I don't like you. Go away."
God, you're dangerous, even though you've done nothing but help us.
And then there's the shocking reveal that Kotaro's girlfriend is an undead, which really was not that shocking.
Remember that time when they were talking to the mysterious overshadowed by light figure, and their voice was distorted, and it's just gonna be the woman.
We already know this.
But of course, as third-party viewers, we are more genre savvy than any character in any show or game could possibly be.
Yeah. We get the bit where there's another fight scene between Kenzaki and the queen or category queen guy.
Woo!
And
he's doing Ric Flair woos.
Yeah, and
drunken boxing. It's
great. The girl reveals that she's an undead and starts choking out Kotaro, and then Hajime shows up and saves him. But
Kotaro still doesn't trust him yet.
Kenzaki beats the queen guy and gets his absorb card.
Absorb a queen.
Yep. Now, and then the next episode starts with Kotaro is in a daze because now he doesn't have a girlfriend anymore.
Yeah. That's how I feel, except
he's like time. It opens up with them eating dinner, and it's pasta with tomato sauce, and like Kenzaki and Hirose are like, "Oh, this is gross." Tachibana is eating the shit out of it.
I don't remember that at all.
Hajime works with a photographer as her assistant. And turns out that she was a student of the guy who we stole the picture from in the mountains.
I didn't steal that picture. He was bequeathed.
Yep.
Bequeathed. Bequeathed? Bequothen.
Then Mutsuki is undertaking sensory training with Tachibana to help sharpen his senses to fight the undead possession.
Oh right, if he's stronger in a strong body equals a strong mind.
Yes. Then
like lobbing 60-mile-an-hour baseballs at Mutsuki's face.
Then our Kotaro's ex-girlfriend shows up to mess with
everyone.
Hajime on his job. And she bitch slaps the photographer girl and sends her flying like 20 feet.
Don't worry, she shrugs it off.
Yeah. We get a bit where Mutsuki talks about how he's afraid of the dark, and he wants
Isn't she a category king, or isn't she also a category queen, or is she a category? What is it?
She's a queen.
She's a queen. Okay, yeah. Isn't that the part where she also says, "Oh, you're him, aren't you?" Right, or something?
They don't start that yet. They're still calling him Chalice, and then while fighting her, a random guy shows up and saves Hajime, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm super best buds with Chalice. We had a promise from back in the olden days."
Yeah, Chalice, we gotta fulfill our yakusoku. Don't worry, we'll fulfill our yakusoku. And Hajime was just like, yeah, I guess. Whatever gets me out of this situation.
Yeah, Tachibana and Mutsuki are having a conversation about the whole like not being possessed by the category aces,
By the devil.
and Mutsuki is like, "I'm not like you or Kenzaki. I don't have a dead girlfriend or dead parents."
Oh man, this little kid is just like, I don't have a dead girlfriend to fight for. It's like, no, you just have a
living girlfriend.
You have a live girlfriend and live parents to fight for.
Yep. And
then he fucks off.
And then Hajime ends up. Oh yeah, so before the category queen girl or Koshoro's ex-girlfriend attacks, it's the photographer finds the picture on Hajime of the family.
Yeah,
and
so she immediately gets suspicious of him that
Yeah.
he had to have killed the guy.
Yeah, and the episode ends with there's a fight where Hajime henshins and she takes a bunch of pictures of it.
Of him turning into Caris.
Yeah.
Callus. Chally girl.
The episode opens up, or this next episode.
What?
This next episode, because we're talking about 23. We've already blown through the 21, 22.
I know.
Yeah.
I was just doing that thing that I do, where I start singing a song, and then I go, what? Where I sandbag myself.
But anyway, the episode opens with they're fighting the mole undead underground, and Mutsuki uses his Blizzard and his Bite card to do Blizzard Crush. Not fucking. Oh my god! I'm so mad that it's not called Frostbite.
No, you're just gonna have to get over it. It'll never be called Frostbite. It's called, what is it called again?
Blizzard Crush.
It's called Blizzard Crush. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
Mutsuki gets the Screw card.
I thought it was Drill. No, wait, Hajime has Drill.
Yeah.
It's all fucking the same.
Yeah. we find out from Hajime's not best friend that fucking Chalice was a fucking legendarily strong undead or something like that.
Who also looks like a Kamen Rider.
Yeah. Well, we don't find out that until a while.
No, we find out like right now. They say that his Chalice form looks exactly like Chalice from 10,000 years ago. Via a very oddly lit flashback.
I like how you don't remember much, but you remember enough to argue with me on things I don't remember.
I know enough to argue. I pick my argument spots. I see when you don't remember it. That's when I know to strike.
Yeah. Then
our memories complement each other, obviously.
Yeah. Then Hajime's not friend steals the Chalice card, and we find out that Hajime... everybody's super suspect that Hajime's not actually Chalice.
Well, yeah, because he's not Chalice. He's just using Chalice's power.
Yeah. Hajime tells Kenzaki about the how he met the husband in the mountains and got the picture.
And that's why he's wondering about human emotions.
Yeah.
Because he's a soulless husk of a person.
Hajime then shows up to... he shows up
to help fight the guy to get back the Category Ace card.
Yeah, and he uses float and henshins into the dragonfly.
Hajime does. Hajime uses float, and unlike because he
slides it through his belt, which
just like henshining, just like he usually henshins.
Yeah, and he becomes the float monster,
the dragonfly, which was really weird to see, but then they explain it later. It's a good explanation.
Then, my note says Kenzaki figures it out, but
he figures out why Hajime has the picture from the dying guy, the dead and dying guy.
Oh yeah,
and because the photographer lady runs up to Kenzaki and she's just like, "Oh, you know that guy? That guy is a whatever." Because she knows Kenzaki is friends with Hajime, but she doesn't.
Oh yeah, because the story tells us he met a man in the mountains,
and he was wondering why that man's last thoughts were of his family and not of himself. Like Hajime isn't able to comprehend that he would want to see his family before he died. He just literally can't comprehend that feeling whatsoever.
And when she's talking about my dead sensei, that's when he figures out exactly who he's talking about.
Yep. So that's when Kenzaki understands Hajime mo betterer.
And then Kenzaki jumps in, gets the Chalice card back, and gives it to Hajime. Hajime henshins into Chalice. And at one point, the Jack guy throws an attack, and Hajime saves the photographer from it.
And that's how she knows to trust him.
Yep. We cut to Tachibana talking to Mutsuki about...
dead girlfriends? Gotcha.
About the cards, and he's explaining what some of the cards do and how each category is a themed thing. And stuff.
Yeah, because Mutsuki was going to try and do a card combo, but then somehow Tachibana knew that his card combo was going to be shit.
Yeah,
so he stops him.
Yeah, he tells it. So Mutsuki is fighting Kotoro's ex-girlfriend.
Because he wants rare cards. Yeah, he wants rare cards for his collection.
He's gonna use Blizzard, Blizzard, Bite, and Screw. And Tachibana tells him that those cards are incompatible with Screw.
Somehow, for whatever reason, I would have rather have seen that happen. That Or it's like, I don't even understand what the compatibility is. It's just whatever they fucking feel like.
Then
It doesn't mean anything.
Kinzaki beats the Hajime's not friend and gets his fusion card.
Fusion Jack, absorb a queen. What you got? Why are you laughing?
The first line says Mutsuki is manly.
Oh, is that when he's being a fucking prick to everyone?
He's on a date with his girlfriend, and they're going on all the rides that he used to be scared of.
Right, because he's got to be a big, strong man now. He's got to not give a shit anymore.
Then there's an attack from a bunch of werewolves.
And oh my god, I forgot about the werewolves.
Mutsuki fights them, and they can't be sealed, and then the undead hunters show up.
Yes, the undead hunters. The, oh my god, I should have fucking looked it up, because they... remember what I told you they reminded me of?
I don't remember, honestly.
The dudes from Power Rangers Time Force. Those
SWAT
guys. Whatever.
Yeah, the SWAT guy.
You know who I'm talking about, though, right? The one that the Quantum Ranger was a part of?
Yeah.
I just don't remember what they were called.
Then, Kotaro is still being... still doesn't like Hajime, so I have this note that says achievements don't change being undead.
Oh, yeah. It's like, what was that one thing we were watching, and it's just like, alright, all of that stuff is just rendered null and void by this revelation. Was it Fize? Takumi being an Orphanoch?
I think so. Yeah.
It was something. We were watching something, and it was like, oh, this person's actually a whatever. And then it's just like, well, then literally we're just going to forget everything they've ever done for the benefit of everyone around them.
Yeah.
All of it. Null and void. Doesn't matter anymore. It was Fize. Because it's just like, we're just gonna forget literally everything. See, alright. So I'm gonna talk about a little bit about Final Fantasy 15 for just a second. Tiny spoiler. Little spoiler that has no bearing on the overall story whatsoever. You find it out near the end of the game, and it has no relation on literally anything. So it's a tiny spoiler about our boy Prompto. Do you know what the spoiler is, Alan?
I don't.
Alright, so the spoiler is that Prompto was born in Nibelheim as a fucking mass-produced soldier. That's it. That's like a spoiler for his character. And immediately he says that, Noct, I'm actually one of the dudes who's part of this kingdom. That's where I was born, and then I was brought over to your kingdom and whatever. And immediately all of his friends are just like, yeah, whatever, who cares? You're you. You've saved my life a bunch of times. You're my best friend since high school. It's all good. And it's like, it's all good. Like, they just didn't give a shit. They were like, it doesn't matter where you were born.
Because you can't have any bumps in your band or in your boy band road trip.
Oh, there was a few bumps. There was a couple of bumps. But and it's definitely not a road trip at that point in the game. It's kind of definitely off the roads. Everything has gone to shit. At that point in the game, everything has gone to shit. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, you can have these dramatic reveals for your characters, but your characters have to respond in believable ways. And it's just like, oh, Takumi is an Orphanoch. And it's just like, well, he's still Takumi.
And it took them like fucking 6 more episodes than they should have to say that.
Yep. And here it's just like, I like that basically everyone knows that Hajime is an undead, but only Kotaro cares. Only Kotaro gives a shit.
Yeah.
No one else gives a shit. Kenzaki especially gives no shits.
Then, Kotaro's ex-girlfriend shows up, and
she's still not dead. That's right.
She spends forever not being dead.
You're right. Far longer than should be fucking... You know, it's because she's a woman. That's
and she's she kind of like bats around the undead hunters a bit, and
then she fucks off.
She gets chased off by...
She fucks off, gotcha.
She gets chased off by the wolf undead that's making all the not undead creatures.
He's
making all the werewolves. And they run into another guy. And it's like... So my note says like 3 high-level undead, and they're all just standing... They're all in the same area, and then the guy gets up and says, "Hey, I don't want you guys fighting by my pool. Go away." And then so they try to fight him, and he just fucking shrugs them all off.
Yeah, because he's a king, right? Isn't he a category king?
No, he's a queen.
But he's way stronger than these other category queens.
You know what? I think you might be a jack.
But queens beat jacks. Whatever. It's not like your category actually correlates to how powerful you are.
Yeah, he's a jack.
Yeah, it's not like your power correlates to... Or it's not like your category correlates to how powerful you are.
And then we get more of people being killed and turned into werewolves.
Zombies.
Yeah.
We're playing House of the Living Fuck.
Tachibana and Kenzaki meet up with the undead hunters at a motorcycle racetrack. And then they're like, "Yeah, we're going to make this ultimate motorcycle that was still in development from the board days called the Black Fang." And then it gets its own insert song. It's great.
Yeah, also the Black Fang has the ability to seal undead and use their powers. So it's basically got the rider belt system infused in the motorcycle.
Oh, not yet. They're trying. They want.
They're trying to do that. That's what.
That's why they want. That's why they want Kenzaki and Tachibana to help them with it.
To make the true ultimate rider bike.
Yeah, they wanna input the Rouser system into it.
That's what it's called, the Rouser system.
Then the category queen, Kotaro's ex-girlfriend shows up and calls out Hajime.
When did she almost die, and then Kotaro finds her?
It'll be coming up.
Okay.
That's
all I remember.
Then after waking up from like sleeping all night and being like, "Oh, where's or having slept through the day because they worked all night on the Black Fang."
On the fuck.
They go, "Where is everybody?" And then they walk outside and
they're all dead.
And my note says, "Undead hunters were hunted."
Of course, that's what you would write.
Yeah, and then the wolf undead steals the motorcycle. And because it has the Rouser system, he can fuse it with his power.
It's like a double down on their power. He's doubling up.
Yep.
He's calling, not folding.
The elephant or
something whims of fate.
Then the next episode starts with Hajime trying to fight the Jack guy, the elephant undead, and
he's so buff.
Yeah, he beats the shit out of Hajime, and then he also beats the shit out of the Kotaro's ex-girlfriend because she's a
dumb bitch.
She's trying to get him to do her dirty work.
Yeah, she tried to do like this whole chess master thing where she like tries to lead Hajime to the guy because she knows that Hajime will just try to kill the guy because that's what he does. And then the guy like wasn't happy about her trying to use him to fight battles because he didn't want to fight till near the end.
Yeah. Then we find out after they chase the wolf undead, we find out that the wolf undead doesn't want to fight the riders. He just wants to fight the other undead.
Wants to be the strongest.
Yep. And then there's the elephant has the same discussion with multiple people that he doesn't actually want to fight. Or not, at least not yet.
Gotta explain his motivations.
Then Kotaro stumbles
about how disguising himself as a windmill is the ultimate game plan.
Oh man. Kotaro finds his ex-girlfriend knocked out, and so he picks her up to save her. We find out that it turns out that the leader of the undead hunters, after he recovers the motorcycle from the wolf undead, is actually the wolf undead.
The whole time!
We get a flashback of Tachibana being on the original development for for Black Fang.
It's a legacy of Chief Karasuma.
Then Kotaro and his ex-girlfriend are having a conversation.
He finds her almost dying.
Having a conversation about... it's like, oh, why'd you save me? And he goes, oh, because I can believe that there's still, like, good in you and other undead, technically.
Is this before or after she's about to choke him out?
Oh, wait, no, this is right after that. She wakes up, she's going to choke him out, and then he turns around, and then they have that conversation.
Yeah, literally, Kotaro takes like a nap, because they're sitting in his car, and he takes a nap on his steering wheel, and then she's like dead and unconscious, and then she wakes up. Because when I say dead, I don't mean actual dead. But she wakes up, and she does that like serial killer from the 70s type, hold her hands right above their neck, about to choke them out deal. And then he wakes up, and then she doesn't.
So then...
she pulls the gills.
Yeah. Then the wolf undead shows up to a racetrack to beat up a bunch of people racing on motorcycles to prove how strong he is. And there's one racer who teaches us the secret racer tech of the slipstream. Where if you ride behind somebody...
I hate everything.
He just rides behind the wolf undead and he tanks all the fucking aura blast because he's riding in the slipstream.
It's not how slipstream... Like, first of all, that is how slipstreams work, but that's not what that would mean when auras explode. I don't know.
So Kenzaki does the same thing, except on his motorcycle, and then he beats the wolf undead and gets the fusion card. Kotaro's ex-girlfriend and Kotaro both notice that Hajime has shown up, so she knocks out Kotaro, gets into a fight, and then Hajime gets an absorb card, or beats her and gets the absorb card, and Kotaro talks about how he can never forgive Hajime for ruining the one chance that he had at understanding that undead could be good, even though Hajime is continuously doing good as an undead.
No. Alright, hold on, wait. I'd like to point this out. Hajime did his job of sealing undead by sealing this undead, thus protecting people, and Kotaro is just like, well, it's you, so I don't give a shit about you. It's basically what it boils down to.
He's like, he was basically, if I could have, I was about to turn her to the good side, and if I did, then I would have forgiven you, but now I can never forgive you.
Makes no sense.
This
character doesn't need to exist.
The elephant undead comes into play, and he's like too strong for everybody.
Yeah, he's way too good.
Then this random guy from Tibet.
This Tibetan monk with the ancient art of philosophy
shows up, and he's like talking to everybody as if he knows them all.
He's just like, oh yes, you're you.
And then there's my note says Mutsuki is double possessed, and that's because like he was possessed, but then he got a hold of it, and then the spider repossessed him when this guy from Tibet showed up.
Did he really? I don't.
Yeah, he starts having the voice.
Oh
He gets the manly voice.
No, it's not manly. It's definitely the possessed by Satan voice. Like, he'll be talking and he'll be like, I have to get stronger. Mutsuki, what was that? Huh?
Nothing.
Oh, are you sure your voice sounded like you just got possessed by the devil? Nah. Not today.
The elephant continues to walk around and beat the shit out of people.
Because he's angry now. That's the whole thing. Like, he wasn't angry before, but now he's angry.
Yeah. Then everybody starts having those conversations about, like... Or all the undead that are left are like... Oh, after having met you and talked to you, or having fought you, I now know that you are him.
You gotta play the pronoun game, so we all gotta wonder who Hajime is.
Yeah. Then Shima, the name of the Tibetan guy, revealed, like, after having talked to Hajime henshins, and then it turns out Shima is a spider undead.
Oh, I wonder if that's gonna come into play with our, problem with our spider-based writer.
Then, Kenzaki, after they have another philosophical talk about why are you a rider and stuff, Kenzaki's like, I don't know. And then the elephant undead shows up at a baseball stadium, beats the shit out of Tachibana and Mutsuki, and Kenzaki shows up and he's like, I know why I'm a rider. I'm a rider because I have to protect people. And Shima's like, that's the answer I wanted to hear. Here's your mid-series power-up. And throws him the wrist device that lets him use.
All right. I have a question for you. Is this better or worse than the Excel upgrade from Fies? Like, is that scene, like how he gets it, better or worse? Because it's just dude shows up. Here you go. Your mid-series. Your mid-season.
It's better because there's more character reflection on stuff rather than just fucking what's his face just shows up and says, thinks about it for a second and goes, you can have it, and just
gives him Excel form. Oh, what was that? Yeah,
so then, using the Absorb Queen and Fusion Jack, Kenzaki assumes his fusion form, beats the elephant, and gets the final fusion card.
Is that it? Do they all have fusions now?
Yeah, all 4 fusions are sealed.
Dun, dun, dun. Dope.
Yes. The next episode, possessed Mutsuki reveals that Shima is a Category King card.
Which makes him one of the strongest.
Yep. I have this line that says Mutsuki is trying to be manipulative, and I don't remember what he's trying to do. I think he's trying to get Shima to fight Hajime, I think.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. Because remember, he's like there in the cornfield or whatever the fuck.
Well, that's before.
Dude, I don't remember. I barely remember. I only slightly remember some of this.
Yeah, oh, wait. I remember. Because, Kenzaki confronts him, and then he runs away. And then from the background, he uses remote to summon an undead, and then he fucks off while Kenzaki fights that undead, and then he meets up with Tachibana, or Tachibana finds him, and goes like, so you do have the belt. And he goes, "You're still being possessed, aren't you?" And he's like, he goes, the fucking category ace is still talking to me. And then he pushes Tachibana down a hill where he hits his head really hard.
He shrugs it off.
Yeah, well, he's in the hospital for a little bit.
He shrugs it off.
Then Shima suggests that if he lets himself be sealed by Mutsuki, he can help fight the possession of the category ace.
But there is a chance of him not and losing, and thus becoming more power for the possessed category Mutsuki.
Yeah. Then the spider undead finds out who Hajime is.
He's him!
Yeah. Shima fights Mutsuki, and they get interrupted by Kenzaki.
Because Kenzaki doesn't want Shima to get sealed.
Yeah. And then they fight somebody fights the bull undead and gets the magnet card. I don't remember who.
Me neither.
Oh yeah, Shima talks about how Mutsuki is cut off from the voice of the woman that he loves, and that's what's hindering his ability to fight off the possession. Shima reveals that Hajime is the Joker. Somebody gets a card that I don't know because I forgot to look up what the card was at the time. Because it's blank space get. And then I was like, somebody got a card. Now is my chance. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So at the end of this episode, Shima and Mutsuki are fighting each other. And Kenzaki tries to interrupt, and then Shima attacks Kenzaki and gets him out the way. Mutsuki does his Blizzard Crush finisher, and then Shima says, "Now's my chance," and jumps in the way of the attack. It's great. And Mutsuki gets
so funny.
Mutsuki gets his evolution card.
Evolution Kingu, and he fucks off because now he's got the category ace and the category king card warring over inside of him.
Yes. This next episode, my notes are fairly limited, so I can't really do a real play-by-play, but somebody reveals that if Hajime wins the undead battle as Joker, then everything dies.
Oh, it's that one bitch. The laughing bitch.
Yeah.
Ah ha ha! Ah ha 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 ha!
Oh yeah, because this is the part where Hajime fights her, and then
he loses.
He gets rammed through a cement column, and he loses his memories.
Tachibana takes a tree to the face going down a hill, but Hajime gets his face pushed through a cement column. He loses his memory. Bullshit. One
could argue that one of those is slightly worse than the other.
I'd like to point out that Tachibana, when he took that tree to the face, he was in his human form. And then when Hajime got his face rammed through a cement column, he was henshined. Also, Hajime is an undead. thus stronger than a normal human. That is my defense, and I'm sticking with it, but go on.
Hajime meets his body double, and they switch.
He literally meets a guy who looks just like him. And somehow this guy is able to convince amnesiac blank slate Hajime to switch lives with him.
Hajime has no idea what's going on.
Hajime is literally so blank. Like, he's alright. It's even worse than normal. He's not just a cold-eyed, soulless creature. Now he's just an empty husk. Like, he's just a body. He's a warm body at this point.
Yes, and then we find out that the guy apparently like had a girlfriend who...
He was the heir to the Takoyaki Empire.
Yes, and she's the heir of the Taiyaki Empire.
And they're in a forbidden love that neither of their fathers support. Whatever. We're now in Shokugeki no Soma, and I really wish...
Because at the end of the episode... They go back to the guy's family, and then Hajime, after having a fucking memory spasm, says, "Oh, I have to fight, gotta win." And they're like, "So you're gonna help us beat the Taiyaki guys?" Yeah, and then Hajime has joined the food wars.
We literally become Shokugeki no Soma for 2 episodes.
It's great. I love it.
I'll let you take care of this one. You're more Shokugeki no Soma than I am.
There's a fight between Hajime and the Taiyaki guys, and they say like, "Oh, we'll remember this." That is just. I just have this note that says, "We will remember this."
They carry off their unconscious friend.
I mentioned that everybody wants a piece of Hajime. It's great.
Somehow Hajime being a cold... He's... Alright, no, I got it. I finally understand why everyone was like all about Hajime during that time when he was a soulless husk. It's because he's the main character of a Persona game. He was just so quiet and unassuming that everyone just expected him to be on their side, and thus instantly likable.
Yes. Then they challenge the Taiyaki guys to a Shokugeki. That was good. The chief sends another Rouser Absorber for Tachibana.
Because the absorber cards that let them turn into their fusion forms comes from the chief, who's often Tibet, America, Canada, whatever.
Yeah, he's sending these wrist pieces that allow them to use the power of the absorb queens
and the fusion jacks.
Yeah. Then while in the middle of their Shokugeki, the queen that's been laughing shows up.
Ah ha ha ha! Ah ha 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 ha!
And she wants to fight Hajime, and Hajime gets all of his memories back.
He just does.
Yes. And the while trying to defend everybody, the Hajime's body double's girlfriend gets knocked down, and his body double gets really mad and attacks the queen with these two giant, or no, with this giant like cast iron mold.
Oh, all right, hold on, wait. Are you forgetting the fact that Hajime's body double, in order to win back his life from Hajime, entered the Shokugeki on the Taiyaki side inside a rider suit specifically built to turbo out Taiyaki. How could you have possibly forgotten that?
I did it on purpose to see if I could get you riled up on it.
How could you have forgotten that on purpose to rile me up?
Yes. Anyway, he picks up one of the cast iron molds and whacks the fusion or the queen in the face with it.
In his turbo Taiyaki mode.
And then while her face is burning, Hajime does the finisher and gets the absorb card. Then he shows up to a fight that Tachibana is having and throws him the Rouser absorb, or throws him the absorb queen card, and then now Tachibana can assume his fusion form.
Like, he knew where Tachibana was, and he knew that he needed an absorb queen card. So he's just like, here you go. And then with the ominous words of, I need you to get stronger,
so that I can get stronger,
Castiel walks away for the episode. I mean, Hajime.
Yeah.
They're like the same guys at this point.
The next episode starts off with a bunch of cops find Mutsuki wandering around, and then he beats him up. And this other guy is
little shit.
This other guy is taking pictures of it, going like, "Oh man, what am I gonna do with these pictures? Ha ha ha!" He makes a bunch of slanderous headlines about Kamen Riders.
Kamen Riders beat up cops tonight at 11.
Yes,
on the internet.
So
he makes websites in the middle of an internet cafe that are just spread around all over the place.
Yeah. Hirose and Kotaro find him, and then when
unfortunately
they
for
let
them,
Kenzaki shows up later, and then he finds his friends in the frozen time.
Unfortunately, what they didn't realize, they were looking for a little shit. They didn't realize it was him, Dio, the whole time.
Yes, and then
he uses the world to freeze them in time.
Yes, he is literally just stopping time and doing stupid bullshit, and he's like, "Oh man, you can't beat me. I'm a king." So then now we have our second category king, and when Kenzaki attacks him, a shield appears in front of him, and I dubbed it the Aegis shield.
Why?
Because it blocks everything. And then he does more time stop shenanigans and reveals to Kenzaki that Hajime is the Joker, and that if he wins the undead fight, everything dies.
He's the category Joker, which has no species associated with it. Because remember, whatever species wins the battle fight is the ruling species of the planet.
Yes. And then he talks about how Joker is as strong as all of his sealed undeads that he carries.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
It's quite a number at this point for Hajime.
And later, while Kenzaki's at home, a new mysterious monster attacks him, and when he beats it and tries to seal it, he cannot seal it. We find out that the king wants to control Joker because he has the ability to mind control undead. We get the reveal that Hirose's dad is alive. And the category king guy kidnaps Hajime and takes all of his cards except for his spirit card, which Hajime needs to be in his human form. Then he runs, or Hajime runs away after letting out some of his Joker aura, and Mutsuki shows back up, and Mutsuki, we find out, is possessed by the spider still.
Yep, evil is sin.
Shima has failed in his mission to
had one job.
Yes.
To die and save our precious child from being reborn in the darkness or whatever.
And so he wants to... Oh, by the way, I should also mention that at this point, Mutsuki owns a nightclub and has a bunch of thugs. All they do is hang out with him at the nightclub, but he has a bunch of thugs. Kinzaki saves Hajime from Mutsuki. Then the king guy shows up, and Hajime realizes the trick to the time stop, and that the time stop is being initiated by a wholly different undead. And as long as you have a white rag on your arm, time stop doesn't work on you. A white rag made from a material from long ago. And so Kenzaki beats the undead and gets the time card, which he will never use for the entire show.
Go on.
Then Hajime starts talking to Kenzaki, and it's like maybe you are somebody I can trust. Talk about how then they meet up with Tachibana. Tachibana is like, Kenzaki, get out the way! I gotta kill Hajime because he's the Joker and he has no species. Therefore, everything dies if he wins. And then we get a fight between Kenzaki and Tachibana. And then Tachibana loses. We find out that because Hajime has a bunch of his cards stolen, that he's starting to revert back to his Joker form. Tachibana meets up with Hirose's dad, and Hirose's dad reveals that he just wants to unravel the secrets of the undead so he can make the human race immortal. Kenzaki is starting to doubt himself because of his relationship with Hajime. Trial D, the monster that attacked Kenzaki, who can't be sealed, attacks him, and he walks at a brisk pace.
Which means he's faster than everyone else in the world.
Yeah, it means you can't get away. Then after resulting in a car accident, couple of car accidents, they talk about, Tachibana tells Kenzaki that his existence is endangering a bunch of people, even though it's not really his fault. Kenzaki leaves home, and it's like, oh, I don't want anybody to be in danger, so I'm just gonna leave.
And then he fucks off.
Yeah. After having beaten Tachibana and saving Hajime, when he left Hajime at the cafe, he leaves a single card for him, which is a fusion card. And later, Hajime is called out by Mutsuki, and when Mutsuki's beating him up, and Hajime is having this whole thing where he's like, I've been living with these humans for so long. I found these ones that I'm fond of. I found ones that I could trust. I don't want to return to my Joker form. I like these emotions. And then he uses the fusion card to turn into the werewolf undead, and he beats the shit out of Mutsuki. And as Mutsuki is running away, he starts beating the shit out of Mutsuki, and then he starts having a panic attack, and Mutsuki runs off. And then he hears the cries of his girlfriend, finds her, and the king guy is there, and he goes, "Oh, I just want to make everything fun. Here, take all of Hajime's cards." We have a scene where Hirose meets up with Kenzaki after he ran away from home, and goes "Oh, hey, you should stop doubting yourself, shut up, and be a Kamen Rider." And he goes, "I should?" And she goes, "Yeah, because none of this shit's your fault." And he goes, "You know what? I should be a Kamen Rider." And she gets a call on her phone telling her, "We found this person that you're looking for." And she's like, "Awesome." So then they find the Category King guy who's being followed by a bunch of people taking pictures of him. And Kenzaki shows up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to doubt myself anymore, because after all, I'm a Kamen Rider, and I have to protect people," when he henshins in front of a bunch of people. And he starts beating up the king guy, and my note says Kenzaki ace is high. And he gets the evolution card.
Yeah, evolution Getto.
Trial D shows up, and when Trial D smacks him around for a bit, he uses the Absorb Queen with Evolution King to assume his evolution form. Then the next episode opens up with Trial D goes to attack him, it does nothing, and then he just smacks Trial D away, and then he has a big new sword that he can load cards into, and then he loads 10 Jack, Queen, King, and his ace card for a royal straight flush attack, which is just him shooting a laser beam out of his sword, and it disintegrates Trial D. And after then he reverts from his Evolution King form, and when Hirose looks for him, she can't find him because he gets stolen by some random teenage girl. When Kenzaki wakes up, she talks about, "Oh, you're that Kamen Rider guy, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I want you to be my hero for the day." And he goes, "Why would I be your hero for the day?" She goes, "If you don't, I'm just gonna throw your ace card off this building." Got it. Then we get the jellyfish monster, the jellyfish undead, The jellyfish undead comes out of this fountain and strangles this man, and then when he's done strangling the man, Joker shows up. Or Hajime shows up in his Joker form, and that undead just nopes the fuck out. Are you still alive over there? Yes? No? Probably should have done this on a different day. Tachibana helps Hirose's dad make the Trial E, which is just a clone of Tachibana. The jellyfish undead is crossed by this girl who shows up to beat him up, and then Mutsuki shows up and fights it, and the jellyfish undead runs away as soon as Joker shows up again. Then we have a scene where Kinzaki fights Joker, but then Joker runs away because it's still fighting, or Hajime is still fighting for control over his body from his Joker instincts. The high level undead, or the high level undead girl, beats up Mutsuki without transforming, and then the episode ends with Mutsuki finding Hajime and using remote on Chalice, and this is when I was like, oh right, Chalice Chalice the undead is just basically a Kamen Rider. Well, that's it for this batch of episodes. Literally Scott has died in the middle of everything. I mean, not literally, but kind of. Like, I tried to get responses out of him, but then he just kind of nothing. So we'll catch you guys next time.